What's up, guys? Welcome back to the InkCast, and today's Market Watch Wednesday, we're going to be looking at some cards, and I'm going to do it a little different for you. All right, so like I said, we're going to do it a little different, but I will start with just some of the daily movers here, and first on the list is Belle. Now, Belle has been one of those cards that's been up and down. She is first chapter, so because of that, her value is always going to be there, and we're starting to see it rise with the rise of blue steel. If you guys haven't seen, blue steel really is the answer to the Bucky decks. Of course, there's other decks that can fight against it too, but this was the deck that really came out to make you maybe not want to play Bucky. I don't know. Everybody's still playing Bucky, but this deck has been really great. And because of that, Belle has made a resurgence with all that lore she can gain. Another card on the list that's starting to go up a little bit. It is a rare, so I don't expect it to go too high, or at least anytime soon going too high, but it is making an uptick, and that is King Undisputed. Once Lucas showed off red purple is a deck, we saw Buchum, the two top final decks, also being red purple. This card has really gone up in value because it's a clean answer to the ward characters, or the ones that you need to get rid of. It's much like a Lady Tremaine, but it's a lot cheaper, and that's the reason why we're starting to see them in decks over multiple copies of Tremaine. It's $1 something. It's not that expensive. I don't see it going up really, really high, but I could see this card ending up around $4 or something if more and more people start to play this deck and this card starts to get more of a 4 of in the deck. Because it's like a 2 of in most decks, it's probably going to settle around $3 at the max. So just decide. If you're going to play the deck, you probably need to pick them up before they go up another 50 cents or $1, but yeah, it's here. All right, the next one we're going to look at is Tinkerbell. She is continuing to go up. We've seen this card really get slotted in any deck that's running steel. Again, it's an answer to the Bucky. If you're a Bucky deck, you're running it now for the mirror. So she is going to go up. She's not legendary, which is a good thing. So her price shouldn't go way too high, but I could definitely see this card being $20 over time just because of how good she is and people are remembering that shift, the 1 damage everywhere, and she's inkable if you don't need her. Another card to look at is Fishbone Quill. Now, Fishbone Quill has been going up and up and up, but we're starting to see it come down just a little bit. It's under $10, and realistically, I put this card at about a $10 card. So if you don't have your playsets, if you've been waiting, now could be the time. It could go down a little bit more with people shifting to red purple and kind of that blue steel or even blue red. We're not seeing the results as much with the blue red as we were before. So maybe this card goes down a little bit more. Just keep in mind, I kind of put this card at a $10 mark. Anything below that, if you don't have playsets, is good to grab, but it could go down just a little bit more. And at the same time, it could go up a little bit more. So keep your eye on it if you're on the fence of purchasing them. But right now, they are under $10. All right, so with the rest of the movers, I'm going to do this a little different. We've got a couple cards that don't show up on that list, but are cards you need to be aware of. Whether they're going up or down, these are the ones you need to be thinking about when you're figuring out what you need in your deck, or maybe cards you want to sell. So Lucky Dime is the first one on this list. It is continuing to go up like we saw. So ever since May, and a lot of people bringing in these big questing decks with Tamatoa, Belle, or even the new Ariel, we're seeing this card go up. It's up right now around $14. And again, it is a legendary, but I don't see this going to $40 because, like we said before, it's a 2 of in the deck. It's not a 4 of. So this card could go up to about $20 where it, got close to a little bit before. So keep that in mind as people are needing these as you get to those decks. Next up, we have a card that's kind of going up and down, but it is on the rise over the last week. And I really think that's because of set championships. Now, myself, I did lose to the Mufasa deck in the top 8 at my event, but Mufasa is a really good card, and we're starting to see him back on the rise. To me, this is one of those decks that's it's good. It doesn't matter when you play it. It has threats throughout the deck. Everything taps for 2 lore, and most decks can't control it. Mufasa's always great after board wipes and things like that. So this card will always be around, in my opinion, in a deck somewhere. It may not be S tier, it may not even be A tier, but it is a deck, just like in Magic with goblins and things like that. It's a deck that can win events. So this card is on the way up, and I expect it during this month specifically, set championships, this to be a really big playable card and a lot of people to be eyeballing it. The last card I want to talk about that's going up before we get to some cards that are going down is the Queen's Castle. Now we all know this card is showing up everywhere. It's a powerhouse, and now it's becoming, you know, a 3 of and a 4 of in a lot of decks, 4 of in a lot of the red purple decks. So because of that, we're seeing its price go up and up and up. Now it's closing in on $15, and this is a rare. So I don't think it's going to go much beyond $15. I could be totally wrong, and it could hit 20, but realistically, if you look at other rares like Maui sits around this price. Mauis are much harder to find because they're chapter 1. These are a little bit easier to find. So it's just the market that's going to be driving this card's price. But at this point, I think you're probably near the top end of the price on the card, but people are going to be buying these like crazy. All right. So like I said, I want to look at a few of the movers that are going in the opposite direction. So on that graph that we normally look at, it doesn't really show us a lot of stuff that's going down. So I went through and I picked out a few cards that are important to note that they're going down. Diablo is one of them. Now, I know we talked about Diablo for a long time and the fact that he was going up and up and up, but at this point, he's on his way back down. He is around $44-ish, and realistically, like I've said before, this is a $40 card. It's just like Beast. It's just like Robin Hood, your staples in the format, but it's not going to be a $50 card. Beast currently is a $50 card, but that's also because of, you know, supply and scarcity of the card. He was set 2, a little bit harder to find those, whereas Diablos are being opened a lot. The set is being opened a lot, so this is the other reason why this card's starting to come down. It is a 4 of, it will always be a 4 of in a deck, so its value will stay there, but he's a $40 card. He's a 4 of in a deck. He's always going to be a 4 of in a deck. His value is going to stay, but I think he's a $40 card all day, every day. So right now he's on the way down. Keep an eye on it. If you haven't picked him up, maybe you picked him up at $60. I don't know. But at this point, he's 40-ish, $44-ish dollars. And hopefully he'll come down just a little bit more for people, but $40 is probably the mark I'd put him at. Speaking of those cards, we have Robin Hood also on the decline. Again, used in a lot of decks. If you're playing Steel, Robin Hood tends to be the card you put in. Even if you've cut your Beast or something like that, Robin Hood tends to stay in. But because he's set 3, there's tons of set 3 cards out there. If you guys didn't see, Amazon had the boxes at like $98 the other day. And they're still way under MSRP right now to pick up. And that's the reason why Robin Hood and that set 3 cards are starting to come down. Now, over time, they'll gain back some of that value, but same thing here. It's a $40 card. You've got him down to about $42, $43. And so he's going to stay around that $40 mark. You need a full play set, usually in decks. I know I've seen some people running 3. They've cut 1 for some other card, but realistically, it's a strong card, will continue to be a strong card even into the future. And he has a great Robin Hood target. Best case, they give us a better 2-drop Robin Hood in the future and make him even better. So all in all, $40 card. He is on the way down, so keep your eye on there if you don't have your play set at whatever point you want to pull that trigger to pick him up. All right, and then the last card I want to point out that's on the decline is Ursula, Deceiver of All. Now, this card is amazing. I don't know why this card is going down. It's usually a 4 of in the deck. Now, I know some of the Bucky decks are starting to cut her to try to figure out Pegasus or whatever, but realistically, this card is insane, and it will always be insane. So keep an eye on this card, because if it goes lower than this, you really should pick them up, because she's only going to get stronger with time. The fact that she sings the song and sings it twice is ridiculous. Friends on the other side, draw 4 cards. Sudden chill, discard 2 cards. Pretty crazy. All the removal spells, being able to take out 2 creatures with 1 spell is crazy. So this card, all in all, is great. And if we think about the fact that we had Sing Together in this set, we'll probably get more Sing Together in the future. She's just going to continue to go up in value of playability. So right now, she is on the decline. We've seen her drop drastically from $50 all the way down here. So about half that price. And I really think this is one of those future $40 cards. I don't think she's a $40 card anytime soon, but she is definitely a $30 card. And at this point, she's below that mark. If you haven't got them, I would definitely keep an eye on her. She could go down a little bit further because she is on the decline right now because she's getting cut from some of the Bucky decks. But yeah, she's just going to be crazy in the future. All right, so transitioning from the daily movers over to the best sellers. I don't know. This list is always these 3 cards, but it doesn't surprise me as being some of the top selling cards. They're cheaper cards, but they're cards that are being included in so many decks. The King Undisputed, we talked about it a little bit before. With the rise of red purple, that card, Sisu, Flynn, they're all making a huge comeback. I'm surprised Queen's Castle hasn't overtaken one of these cards, but you can see Queen's Castle is right there at number 4 on the list. So all in all, these are your best sellers. I know this is the European market, but I know when we looked at TCG Player, the top card, I believe was Sisu or maybe Flynn Rider on last week's video. I don't know. So much has gone on. My brain is full of all of these cards, but these are your top cards. And yeah, they're going to continue to be your top cards throughout the month. We're going to see more and more people winning with red purple or top 8ing with red purple, winning Ursulas with red purple. So these cards are going to continue to be up towards the top for this month. Now, as far as best bargains, I don't know. I originally thought I loved this list and it was going to show me some cards. I don't know if I love this list. The reason why is I'm looking at the list, and when it comes to the European market, there's a lot of cards I feel like are getting slept on. I don't know why Fishbone Quill seems to be under €5, but Maui is 10 euros. You know, they're very close in price in the US market, or at least way closer than what we're seeing over there. So yeah, I think as far as the best bargains, I kind of covered those in the last portion of things that were going down, things to keep an eye on. So I don't know. I may switch up the bargains in the future when we talk about that section. But as far as your best sellers, these are really, really great cards. You can see so many great cards here. Of course, the top 3 that you can see the pictures, but we've also got Belle, Tinkerbell, Be Prepared, being really, really good, you know, on that list. So yeah, this is this week's Market Watch Wednesday. And like I said, we're going to continue to do this every week. We will evolve with this format as we continue. Maybe we'll find new ways of looking at cards or prices or something like that. But definitely let us know down below in the comments, what are some cards you think everybody is sleeping on? Maybe they're not even worth that much. Maybe it's a card like Doc or Gaston or something like that in your Mufasa deck that people just aren't using enough of. And we'll take a look at it. We'll see how we can maybe work something like that into the Market Watch. But again, we love doing this content for you guys. So we appreciate everybody who's supporting the channel, everybody who's hitting that subscribe button, that like button, leaving comments, because it helps the algorithm get these videos out to more people. So appreciate you guys, and we'll be back next week. Until next time, don't take it easy.